What's happening, Magnus? I figured I would do a video responding to a couple of comments that I got on my LeBron James video. You know, LeBron James thanking his father for not being in his life. Yeah. So let me just say, I'm sure that these people probably posted these comments kind of to dig at me, but I figured I'd address them because I know that there probably honestly out there are people that do think like this. So here's the two comments that I remember seeing. One was, you know, well, your mom laid down with him, so your dad can't be that bad. And another one was saying something about, you know, black father, tired of black mothers, or tired of mothers or women, whatever, getting a pass for choosing bad men. Okay, so let's dive into this. Let me explain a few things. First of all, I wasn't giving her a pass for choosing a bad man. And usually when people have pick that statement to say, to express their feelings on that particular type of subject, it's usually these women out there that are choosing bad man after bad man after bad man after bad man after bad man. And I know some of these women. They can't be alone, or they absolutely have to get some dick, okay? Period. It's usually one of those two. It ain't nothing else but that. And then the other one was, you know, well, he couldn't have been that bad because your mom laid down with him. Okay, so I'm going to answer that question with the question. Have you ever been tricked before? Have you ever been swindled? Has anyone ever done something to you and you thought they had the best intentions? Okay, so if you can say yes to those questions, then that, you know, that explains that whole situation, because I'm going to explain a few other things about her. Like I said before, she was going to be a nun, and the reason why she didn't join the convent is because they was trying to get lesbianic with her, okay? So she realized that wasn't her path, okay? Later on, she eventually met him. And, you know, the fact that she was going to be a nun lets you know that she's actually able to be abstinent. After he did her dirty and she forgave him a couple of times, she got rid of him. She couldn't forgive anymore. She was done, okay? And you ask me, to forgive once or twice, to forgive even once, I think, is a great thing. If someone cheats on you, to forgive them is divine. And you're a special person if you can forgive and move on with love. But because most people, well, I don't want to say most people, I know myself, if a girl flat out cheated on me, she's done, and she's going to pay for it for the rest of her life, because I'm just like that. So anyway, after he left, she was celibate for the rest of her life. She told me he was her first love, her only love, and he actually was her first sexually. And the reason why she never dated again was because she was an adopted child. And she did not, all her brothers and sisters were half brothers and sisters. She did not want him, whoever she chose in the future, to treat us like we weren't his own. She knew what it was like to be treated like that, and she dealt with certain issues with her stepfather. So the most important thing for her was to protect us from any man that might try to hurt us or treat us like we were not his own, okay? So she wasn't one of those women that couldn't be alone or needed to have sex all the time. Matter of fact, older cousin of mine told me, she had asked my mom, you know, how can you be alone this long? And, you know, don't you have needs? And she said, I understand what you're saying, but my boys are the most important thing to me in the world, and I don't want them to go through what I went through. I'm like, damn, talk about willpower, you know what I mean? And, you know, as far as giving her a pass, like I said, women like that are usually needy for attention, sex, or it's something, you know, the emotional support that a man gives. And apparently she didn't need it. She was fine by herself. She had her family, she had her friends, you know, so I'm not giving her a pass, okay? Now the mothers out there that do, the women out there that do that over and over and over again, no, you shouldn't give them a pass. Because when you're dealing with men that are bad for you over and over and over again, and this goes for men too, there's men that choose bad girlfriends over and over and over again. You need to take a step back and look at yourself and stay alone for a little bit. Work on you, okay? So you can draw in the person that you really need. Become the person that you want, okay? Because couples usually match, all right? That's how life goes. Couples usually match. You usually don't find big businessmen with women that work at Walmart. Get what I'm saying? That's just not how it goes. Usually these women are successful themselves, and so on and so on. You ever see a piece of shit couple walking down the street? Yeah, see, they match. And in between, middle class, you know what I mean? One's a lawyer, one's a doctor. They tend to match, okay? So you should work on yourself first instead of moving forward with that negative energy. And as far as her laying down with him and him not being so bad, like I said, if you've never been fooled before, you're an idiot for saying that as far as I'm concerned. Because, let me give you an example. It doesn't even have to do with relationships, okay? As far as sexual relationships, intimate relationships. This girl I dated, her mother told me one time, she said, you know, Tyrone, I got swindled out of a lot of money by this brother who had a business proposition. You know, he came to me and a few other people in the church, and, you know, he took all of our money. One day he just was not there anymore. And, you know, and you never would have known, because it was always God this, the Lord that, Jesus this, Jesus that. What about the men and the women that are honey this, boo that, I love you, you're beautiful, you're handsome, you're sexy, you're the best thing in the world. Here, I bought this for you. Here, I bought that for you. And then you find out that they're cheating on you. Okay? Like I said, it's it's fooled me twice, shame on me. You know, and he fooled her once, fooled her twice, shame on her, yes, for taking him back after cheating again. But she got rid of him. There you go. So it took twice for her to get rid of him. So what? Is that bad? I don't think so, you know. But he came back begging and pleading and playing songs and all that shit. So, you know, and he wanted to marry her. And I do know that throughout the town and from what people told me when I got older, she was the only one that he ever said he was going to marry, that he wanted to marry. And you know, he was the typical case of the bad guy, the guy that couldn't control his dick, that knew what he had at home. He knew he had the good girl at home, and he took advantage of that shit. And when she was done, she was done. And a lot of women do this. You know, they think he'll change, or they can change him, or, you know, things like that. Was she naive? Yes, she was naive. I think she had us when she was 27. And I remember even when I was 27, that's when I had my big awakening and became a man. I don't know where she was in her head at 27, but I know she had me at 27. And like I said, I mean, he was supposed to marry her and everything. He never made good on his promises, and that was it. You know, I believe that she was a woman fooled. She was a woman that was fooled. And the second time he cheated, she fooled herself, you know, because she thought he would change. And, you know, like I said, I think people that make videos like that are saying, you know, I get what you're saying as a whole. I think there are probably more cases of women that choose bad men over and over and over and over and over again than women that are just, you know, good women that are just fooled. You get what I'm saying? I think there are women that allow themselves to just be fooled over and over and over and over and over again. because they have no self-control, no restraint on their emotional needs or their sexual needs. Men are the same way. There's men I know that can't stay alone. I know guys that run through girlfriends like this and this and this, and they're always cheating or something else, or sometimes these girls are cheating on them, or they're too nagging on one, whatever it is. Okay? So, I'm done talking about this. If anyone else makes that comment, you know, so what? You know, whatever. I've already made a video explaining my mother's particular situation, okay? So, she wasn't a bad woman choosing bad men. You know, like I said, as a human being, I think you're entitled to be tricked once or twice. It's happened before, you know, to people. Hell, I've been fooled by women, okay? I've been fooled by men, all right? My friends and family that have lied to me and tricked me. It's happened before. So if it can happen once or twice in your life, I think it's okay. Just don't be the person that's constantly being tricked over and over and over again. Some of y'all some of y'all have the most money out of all your friends, and you're constantly being hit up and they never pay you back. Stop being used. Stop being tricked. You know, there's so many different instances of how this is, you know, played out in life. But don't, you know, come to people's page because their particular story, you know, tired of black women getting passes for choosing bad men. No, they ain't getting passes, okay? They need to take a step back and look. Black women, white women, whoever they are, choosing these bad, deadbeat motherfucking fathers, as far as I'm concerned. So, alright, man, now I'm really done, okay? 1 million subscribers.